Mm. Well, good morning, everybody. Hope this day finds you well. I'm feeling pretty good, except for my Facebook issues this morning. But like half the night till 1 o'clock this morning, I was trying to figure it out. I logged out of Facebook and I can't log back in on my computer, but on my phone, I can get there. So today's show is going to be broadcast on YouTube and Twitch, TWITCH. Okay. So YouTube, everybody knows how to use YouTube, but you look for Elkman0557 or type in decision. Either way it goes, you ought to be able to find us on there someplace. Okay. But the mission must go on, whether or not I you know, get it right or not. I'm not sure if this thing is on my Facebook page or not. But anyway, if it isn't, well, I apologize. I'm there somewhere. But anyway, good morning to you. Hope this day finds you well, and doing okay. The world seems to be in an uproar. Good morning, Big Daddy Kane. See, now I'm on YouTube. Good, uh, but Facebook. If you ever log out of Facebook, make sure that you remember your password and all that stuff. Because most of us had these accounts for like years and years and years, and we don't remember what the password is. But I got it somewhere. But it keeps saying we're going to text you. It keeps saying we're going to text you a code. Well, I've been waiting on that code since 9 o'clock last night. Hadn't got here yet. So maybe it don't like AT&T. I don't know. It don't like one of them phones I got, and I got two phones, so I don't know why it gives me a hard time of just trying to get a message to one of them. But hey, what can I say? What can I say? What can I say? Anyway, good morning to you. Hope this day finds everybody doing well. The world's getting crazier by the day. People shooting each other all over not just all over the country, just all over the world. People shooting each other. What's wrong with us as people? I don't know. But I can only be irresponsible. I can only be responsible for myself. What other people do, that's pretty much up to them. I guess that's right. I'm Sergeant Airborne this morning for my all military friends out there. Because we're all sergeants airborne. We jumped out of the airplane. We all are. Anyway, good morning to you, Dr. Joe. My Facebook page is just. I don't actually know if it's working or not. To tell you the truth, I don't know, but yeah, I don't see it. YouTube, I'm there, and Twitch, yeah, I'm there. I'm there, but for some reason, I can't get I logged out of Facebook. And then they said, "Oh well," I tried to get back in. They wanted to verify it was me, and so I said, "Okay, this me." But I'm still waiting for the text on my cell phones. Both of them, I can't get them. I don't know what's up with that. But I'll fix it later on today. They ought to ask me to put in my email address, like normally sometimes people do, but they don't. But I'm dedicated to this cause. So find your way to Facebook. Tell your friends, go to Facebook, not Facebook, go to YouTube, and you can find the brother there. Okay. So, good morning to you. Hope this day finds everybody doing well. Because, well, that's just the way we roll around here. Hey, Mama said there was going to be days like this. Okay. So, it is a day like this. So, let's rise and shine. Let's do the best we can with the things that we have given, the good Lord has given us today, and keep moving on. Temperature outside right now in the capital city, it is 56 degrees. That's what it is all for the most of the morning. Sun and clouds mix, high around 83 degrees today, winds at 5 to 10 miles per hour. On tonight, partly cloudy with evening. Um, yeah, clouds overnight, low around 56 degrees, and wind. On tomorrow, a little bit more like the same it is today, according to the weatherman. 32% chance of rain tomorrow. Partly cloudy, scattered showers. Yeah, in other words, pretty much the same thing tomorrow as it is today. If we as smart as we think we are, and calling this whatever this thing is. Anyway, the weather. All right. Anyway, good morning. It's time to rise and shine. We're gonna make it through the day, hopefully, but it may be kind of rough today. But again, you got to go to YouTube. You got to go to YouTube because that's where I am. Okay, today. Tomorrow, I hope to be back on Facebook, but I can't remember my password. So I got to send a letter up to them. Sometimes our nerves are tried. But I was working on this thing since yesterday. Okay. But I don't want to let my audience down. So I could have put a note on the thing, said, hey, we'll be back tomorrow. But I didn't do that. I'm a soldier. My job is to be here in the mornings. So that's what I'm doing. Anyway, rise and shine. It's time to get up and start living because you are still here.
We changed the world and history right here where we're from. It's new beginnings to you and me, cause we're not done. In our city, in our city, in our city, we're not done.
It's time for our daily bread, a word from on high, something that'll change your perspective or give you a new one. But either way, it's good for the soul. So we'll be back right after this, and hopefully this will be some encouragement to you and others, and even myself. Good morning to you. It's time to rise and shine. We'll be back.
Grateful heart with such sweet ease. Thank you, Lord, for every breath I take.
We are not called to be comfortable.
Our daily bread.
Today's encouragement from the Our Daily Bread devotional was written by Julie Schwab. Julie writes, in August 2015, when I was preparing to attend a university a couple of hours from home, I realized I probably wouldn't move back home after graduation. My mind raced. How can I leave home, my family, my church? What if God later calls me to another state or country? Like Moses in Exodus 3, when God told him to go to Pharaoh to bring his people, the Israelites, out of Egypt, I was afraid. I didn't want to leave my comfort zone. Yes, Moses obeyed and followed God, but not before questioning him and requesting that someone else go instead. In Moses' example, we can see what we shouldn't do when we sense a clear calling. We can instead strive to be more like the disciples. When Jesus called them, they left everything and followed him. Fear is natural, but we can trust God's plan. Being so far from home is still difficult, but as I continually seek God, He opens doors for me that confirm I'm where I'm supposed to be. When we are led out of our comfort zone, we can either go reluctantly, like Moses, or willingly like the disciples, who followed Jesus wherever He led them. Sometimes this means leaving our comfortable life, hundreds or even thousands of miles behind us. But no matter how difficult it may be, following Jesus is worth it.
Today's Our Daily Bread devotional scripture reading is from Exodus chapter 3, verses 7 through 14. The Lord said, I have indeed seen the misery of my people in Egypt. I have heard them crying out because of their slave drivers, and I am concerned about their suffering. So I have come down to rescue them from the hand of the Egyptians, and to bring them up out of that land into a good and spacious land, a land flowing with milk and honey, the home of the Canaanites, Hittites, Amorites, Perizzites, Hivites, and Jebusites. And now the cry of the Israelites has reached me, and I have seen the way the Egyptians are oppressing them. So now go. I am sending you to Pharaoh to bring my people the Israelites out of Egypt." But Moses said to God, "Who am I that I should go to Pharaoh and bring the Israelites out of Egypt?" And God said, "I will be with you, and this will be the sign to you that it is I who have sent you. When you have brought the people out of Egypt, you will worship God on this mountain." Moses said to God, "Suppose I go to the Israelites and say to them, 'The God of your fathers has sent me to you,' and they ask me, 'What is his name?' Then what shall I tell them?" God said to Moses, "I am who I am. This is what you are to say to the Israelites. I am has sent me to you." That's today's scripture reading from Exodus chapter 3, verses 7 through 14.
Let's pray. Dear Heavenly Father, help us to follow you wherever you lead us. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Today's encouragement was provided by Our Daily Bread Ministries.
Come on in, Scarlett. Okay, that's enough of that. Evidently, I'm I'm on some Facebook pages, but not all of them. I can get on Facebook on my phone. I just can't get on it from my computer. Well, it looks like it's on there for some reason. I don't know what's up with that. But I stayed up to 1 o'clock this morning trying to get it together, and it didn't come together for me because, well, just because it's just one of those days, I guess. Anyway, good morning to you. See, I even changed. I had to change my writing and everything. That's in honor of because this is Memorial Day this weekend, and so we're gonna have to get a program together for Memorial Day, and of course, I guess the Confederates already had their Memorial Day already, and so I guess the other Memorial Day is for the rest of us and the rest of the people who gave their life for this country. Do they think they're too good to commemorate with us? I don't know what's up with that. The South is a weird place. I've been trying to understand it, trying to understand the mentality. And it's a difficult one to understand sometimes. We live in a place where people celebrate every year losing, and the winners spend the year complaining that they won. So, I don't. What's up with that? What's up with that? I don't know. I just don't know. So one of them won and don't know it. The other one don't know it, and they lost. I'm just confused sometimes, but that's okay. If you want to, here. Let me. Okay. Hey, Dr. Joe. Let me see. There we go. Can you hear me now?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So you still think they celebrate losing? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, they do. Didn't they lose?
What?
Did they lose?
What? Yeah, they did.
Okay.
In a way, we won. The Yankees had to go back up north and live there. That's punishment, isn't it?
Well, if it's in the wintertime,
well, they have to live around all those other Yankees.
Yeah.
But Kevin, why do people celebrate getting their ass beat on a bridge? That's what I don't understand.
No.
I wouldn't celebrate that.
No. That's not a celebration. That is a commemoration.
Well, you know who started National Memorial Day?
Well, some women did. The Southerners.
Yeah, over in Columbus.
Yeah.
And they didn't just put flowers on the Confederate graves, did they? They put them on the Union graves that were left down here in the South.
Yeah. Well,
so I wish you'd quit saying this, but I'm going to continue to say why you want to celebrate getting your ass beat on a bridge.
Well, because
I don't understand that.
Because we commemorate the viciousness and the unfairness of a group of people because for no other reason than their color. Well,
they celebrate Confederate Memorial Day because the war ended, which was a good thing.
Right.
Don't
But
don't you think it was a good thing?
It shouldn't have. Well, I don't know. Maybe it should have started. I'm not sure.
Listen.
Yeah.
People spilled their blood over that.
Yes, they did.
Over the slavery issue.
Yes, they did.
And we decided it. And they laid down their arms, and the Southerners laid down their arms, and they went back to their farms, and they lived their lives.
But to even think that somebody thinks that it's okay to enslave a group of people.
Listen. Great Britain and the United States were two of the first nations in the world to end slavery.
And I feel you, but the fact of the matter is, how did you come with the mentality that it was okay?
Because it came when we were colonies of Great Britain. They were a slave country, and it came with that.
Morally, though, how do you justify that?
Well, morally. Why do blacks kill blacks?
Listen, we asking the same question.
Let's get right down to it today. Why are blacks out there killing each other?
Listen, we asking the same. I'm asking that question too. So
okay.
I'm not giving them a pass, but
And you agree with me? They should have a memorial right beside the EJI.
Oh, yeah, I do.
Memorializing the blacks just in the 21st century now.
Yeah, and
not the ones that were killed by the Proud Boys or the Klan, but the ones that were lynched by their own race.
Yeah, in the last 5 years, we've lost 5,000 young men a year.
Yeah,
senseless.
Yeah,
I don't know, but that
morally, how do you justify that?
Well, you don't. But let each. My mama used to have a saying: "Let every tub set on its own bottom." And so let them set on theirs, but
I didn't own any slaves.
Yeah, well, I didn't either.
My ancestors did, but I didn't own any.
Yeah, and I've never been
my
one.
family.
I never been one except to McDonald's, because the way they worked the dog crap out of me when I was 17 made me want to go join the army or something. That was hard. That was kind of like slave work. You know what the minimum wage was back in 1974?
Yeah, I do, because I used to work.
It wasn't very much.
It wasn't very much. It's not very much now.
Yeah.
$7.25.
Yeah, that's right. That's Alabama doesn't have a minimum wage.
Listen.
Mm-hmm.
I used to tell my classes, there's two reasons you would be getting paid minimum wage. Number one, you're a teenager, and then number two, you're stupid and have no skills.
I think there's some truth to that. You should not be 50 years old having to work for minimum wage because you have no other skill. Now, I can understand people working for it if they don't have anything. I got that, because you do what you have to do. Yeah.
And minimum wage was never, ever
meant to raise a family.
To live on.
Yeah.
To buy a house and a car and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It was not. Matter of fact, listen to this, Kevin.
Mm-hmm.
When I graduated from high school, I got a job with the YMCA, and the minimum wage was like $2.50 or $2, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I worked for $1.50 an hour, but it was easy work. And listen, it led to bigger. I got some raises there, and it allowed me to pay to go to college at AUM.
Yeah. Well, again, somebody once said, "Don't let your circumstances determine your outcome."
Yeah, and see, anybody listen when
Mm-hmm.
people say, well, they couldn't do what I did,
Mm-hmm.
because I was white. Listen, anybody in Montgomery could have done what I did.
Yeah.
Because listen, like I said, I wasn't even making much money, and I was working part time, and I put myself through school, so they could have done the same thing. It wasn't no big deal, It wasn't like. And listen, I paid for all my. It wasn't until I got over to Georgia, and Georgia paid for some of my classes. The state of Georgia that I was taking, they paid. They even paid for all my degrees.
Yeah.
They paid for some. Alabama never did that. I taught in Alabama for 5 years. They never paid a dime on anything.
Yeah, well, I understand. Just so you know that all those folks went out the Pike Road running from Montgomery. They're shooting out there now too. I just want.
Well, they're shooting over here in Millbrook too. But you know what they call the jails over here in Elmore County? Yeah. They call it Hellmore. You do not want to go to jail over in Elmore.
And that's the way jail ought to be. You ought not want to go to it. So,
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. I'll let you go.
Okay.
And just remember, every time you say, the South wants to celebrate losing, just remember.
Again,
want to celebrate getting their ass beat on the bridge.
Wait a minute. There's a difference between celebration and commemoration.
I agree. Okay. And commemorating the end of the Civil War is a good thing.
We'll just have to disagree on that one.
Well, I don't see them celebrating losing. I see them commemorating their ancestors who went off to war, and that the war ended. The war ended.
Yeah, but I don't know how you can take aggression against the country that you're in and somehow justify that. And picking up arms against your same nation. I don't know how you justify that.
So you didn't like what George Washington and them did, John Adams and all those guys? You didn't like that?
Well, they was trying to secure.
They took up arms against their own country, Kevin.
Well, they did.
They took up arms against their own country.
That they did. So let me shut up about that one because
I got you on that.
But let me ask you something. Does the reason matter? One is to escape tyranny, and the other is to keep tyranny. So I think there's a difference in George Washington and all those folks. They were trying to get some freedom. Now, I must admit, when they got over here, they forgot what freedom was like for black folks. But okay, I feel them. But,
okay.
All right, man.
All right. See you.
Okay. Hello.
Kevin.
Yes.
How you doing?
I'm doing fine.
Let me turn on my phone. I'm having trouble hearing you.
That's called getting old.
Yeah, I got it now. You say you don't understand the morality of somebody that would have slaves.
No, I do not.
What do you understand the morality of the Negroes that gathered up their own people and sold them?
Run that by me again.
What about the morality of the blacks that gathered up their own people and sold them? What about their morality?
They didn't have any.
If we have reparations, shouldn't the Negroes over there start it?
Well, you may have a point, but listen. If we are,
I have a point. I mean, the Negroes, the same Negroes that gathered up their own people, are killing their own people.
Right, but those people over there.
And then let's go to Camilla. Camilla said, "Why do whites kill whites?" You have an answer for that? Can you name one city in the U.S. where whites kill about 34 every weekend? Maybe Camilla could tell us that city.
Yeah. Well, again,
you think Camilla could call in and tell us what city where the whites are killing each other?
Right. But let me just say this much: the only people who are morally responsible.
I'm so sick of it. I didn't have slaves. I don't even think.
And I'm not blaming you.
What percentage of people had slaves?
Well, let's not act like. Well,
what percentage of people had slaves?
There should have been none.
What percentage of people had slaves?
There should have been none. No percentage.
Okay, it should have been. It should have been. Yeah. But there should have been indentured people too, but they were white and brought over from different places. They were indentured servants. But it's only like 25%. So they has to be. You think 75% of the people fought the Civil War for slaves when they didn't even have one? There was a whole lot more to the Civil War.
There were more issues, right?
And then the whole thing you want to commemorate. Blacks may not have any pride, but Southerners are proud of being Southerners. They like living in the South.
I like being in the South. I like living. Well,
so the Civil War ain't got a damn thing to do with being a Southerner and having a thing with that. But let's just go to Camilla. I want Camilla to call in and tell me the city where every weekend 25 whites shoot each other. Just give me one. I get so tired of her ignorant stuff. Whites kill whites. No, they don't.
Well, they do.
I mean, call in the city, huh?
Not the way we do. They do.
Well, call in and tell me the city that every weekend somebody there's that many shots. And I don't even. Here's a question: why do blacks go to a damn party? Because if there's over 50 of them, somebody's gonna get shot.
Okay. Now.
Why would you go to a party if you're black?
Well,
did they just have one in Oklahoma where they shot? It was 30-something shots.
Yeah, they did.
They don't only put it on the news anymore because it's just a family tradition. I think
it is a culture that has been.
Let's get on. I'm ready to be able to vote for a white person. We need to get on with this, getting rid of these black districts. I want a white person. I want somebody that looks like us to represent me.
Okay, then. Right on. And you have a right. And you have a right to desire. You have a right to desire that. But I do have. I did, as I was thinking, which is rare, but sometimes I do sit back in my big chair here, and I think about things. And as I was thinking yesterday, I told myself, let's look at voting in America. Let's look at voting in America. Since all of this is about redistricting, packing blacks in a spot so only a Democrat could get them, it's all about voting. But here is what I came up with. The average, statistically, 66% of registered voters voted in 2020. across the nation. A lot of people got out and voted. 62% of all the black registered voters in 2020 came out. We don't have any other information except from then to now. Evidently, they stopped putting it together. So here's my question. If 62% of all the black registered voters voted, could they not have put, and this is for my Democratic friends here, could they not have put anybody in office they wanted to without being put in sardine cans in districts that nobody cared about? Because everybody knew, and like they know now, that like, so black folks, if we haven't progressed politically, it's our own fault, okay, or y'all's fault. I don't vote Democrat. But if all the Republicans know that 98% of black folks are going to vote Democrat, what obligation, forget the Constitution, what personal obligation do they have to worry about you? You don't listen to them. You don't agree with them. So what? And if the Democrats, and you put your same, we put ourselves in the same position with Democrats. If Democrats know that only if God himself came down from the clouds and said, hey, how about voting for a Republican every once in a while? You are going to vote Democrat. Democrat, Democrat, Democrat. So basically, you put yourself in the same position whether you vote whether you're Democrat or Republican. The Democrats have taken black vote for granted for years, and the only thing they have is go against them. Now they really don't make a good argument of why. Just go against them, which are the Republicans. The Republicans just stay quiet because they know they're not going to support you that much because you don't support them. And let's just face it, politics is quid pro quo. Okay, it's quid pro quo. Okay, you get something if you give something. Okay, you get something if you give something. We have allowed other people to come to America, and other groups of people come to America and benefit from the sacrifices of those people who walked across that bridge, who took the hell, who took the dehumanization for us, this current generation, me and other people, and gave it to somebody else. Now, I even saw illegal aliens with a sign one day that says, and I hate using the word illegal alien, but that's what you are. They had a sign that said Juan Crow. You know, that wait a minute. So you leave your country because they really treat you bad. You come over here and you hold a sign up talking about Juan Crow, Juan, Juan Crow. So we got Jim and they got Juan. Okay, I don't know Juan. Actually, I don't really know Jim, but I keep hearing about Jim Crow. I don't really know what he looks like, but okay then. So we got Jim and they got Juan Crow. And then here's another group, the gay group. Now, they're only famous for one thing, for bending over, letting them take it at home. Okay, that's the only thing. That's the only thing they're good for. What they do in the privacy of their own home, they bend over and they take one for the team. Okay, or they let them put one in them for the team, however it works. So, but they think because they are reprehensible in that behavior that somehow they should get special rights because and the same rights that blacks gave blood for, gave their freedom for, young men and women who were thrown in rivers for, thrown in oceans for, and they think that because but you know what? They're getting it. They are getting the benefit of the sacrifice of people, because what we've done with that sacrifice is not really relevant anymore, Because what we did not pay homage to those people. Okay, you missing, John. The Democrats don't do nothing for you, and the Republicans don't do nothing for you either. And do you want them to? No, you don't. You want them to create an atmosphere that is conducive to me being successful in whatever thing I choose to do legally in America. So we don't want the Republicans or the Democrats. We want them to honor their oath to office, to obey the Constitution of the United States of America, and that seems to be a law because we keep redefining the Constitution. It's Duke. Oh, what's going on, Duke?
Kevin.
Yes.
So in other words, you're gonna blame the black people for all the things you reeled off.
Oh, they are to blame. We're to blame.
Blame us for.
We are.
So in other words, you're trying to tell me, Kevin, that there's no one in the United States of America that is a Republican that is gay and
sure they are
homo and
but
transgenders and all that.
They don't want the law changed. They don't want the law changed so they can stick each other in the rear. They're not asking for that. It's their own.
That ain't my point. Now, I'm talking about all these rules they got for the public school versus the private school and all that. These kids.
Private school is private school.
They walk around the dresses and all that too. But that ain't reading that call. That's not the reading that call. So that's your subject about the damn gays and stuff. That's your subject. That's your subject matter. You was talking about it. Yeah, that's when I brought it up. I'm calling about the this redistricting stuff. How did that begin from the get-go, Kevin? Let's start from the beginning. You tell us not to go back into history now, so let's go back into history a little bit. How did that start in the state of Alabama? I'm gonna use Alabama for an example. How did Alabama get punished by the federal government about tapped on the wrist and say treat these blacks better? How did that come about, Kevin?
Let me ask you a question, my friend. And this is a serious question.
No, answer that question first, then we'll move on to your question.
Wait a minute, I'm going to answer the question.
Answer my question first. Where did it come from?
I have to answer your question by asking you a question. And
no. That ain't how it gonna work today. Go ahead with your.
If my dog bites you, you come over to my house and my dog bites you. Right? Now, you don't mind if I smack the dog at that particular time because he bit you. We don't want him to do that. A year later, every time you come to my house, I'm beating the hell out of my dog, even though he hadn't bitten you but that one time. What would you think about a man who keeps beating the hell out of his dog, who only did one thing a year ago?
What that got to do with it?
I'm my question. What would you think about me if I beat my dog every time? I've been beating my dog since that one time he bit you.
Well, the same way I think if I came over you whipping up on your wife every time I came over there. Same thing.
Okay. And what would you think about me then?
You like to beat your wife beater or your dog beater?
Okay. And is that a good thing or a bad thing?
That's your dog. That's between you and your dog and a good law.
Okay, so then wait a minute. You cannot make a moral judgment on me keep beating the hell out of my dog or my wife, but you want to make a moral judgment on somebody else?
No, rights for animals are different from people because the animal can't defend themselves. So you go out there whoop a dog, you have to get locked up.
Yeah,
but different laws.
Yeah, I hear you. So you know where I was going. So you're not a dumb man.
No. I don't know where you're going with my question. See, I want you to go and be honest that white folks started all this stuff from the get-go. Sure. White folks taught blacks how to burn up buildings because blacks know how to burn up stuff.
How long?
Blacks know how to.
How long are we gonna beat them? How long are we gonna beat them? How long are we gonna bring back what happened with the great grandmother? See. That's
my point. That's where I want to go with you this morning. That's where I want to go with you. Mm-hmm. Okay, you tell us to forget about the history.
No, I
Forget
did.
about the history.
No. You can't forget about it.
Forget about the history.
But you don't
They
live.
said, you know, they tell you to not forget history in case it repeats itself.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, I hear you, bro.
Now, if they wipe away all the voting rights and all that, my grandson, when he get older,
It
he
ain't
won't know that.
It ain't gonna stop nobody from voting.
Kevin, let me talk for. Can I talk for a minute?
And we can write our own book.
Okay. All right. But what I'm saying now, they want to erase all the Black history. Okay, they want.
No, they don't. They just get tired of us beating them with it. They get tired of us beating them with it.
No, Kevin. Let me make my point, sir.
Yeah.
Man, can I get a word in? Or you let comedian run and go on and on and on and on 4 or 5 times a day, and when I try to call back, you block me from calling back because I'm more intelligent. That's what they read me want to hear. You don't want to hear from me. Yeah. But the thing is, sir, throughout the history, they said, don't forget your history because it repeat itself, right? Huh?
That's what they say, but I don't believe it.
That's what they say. Mm-hmm. They repeat itself. So if we don't pay attention to what happened to us already, my grandson and all of them that's coming up,
yeah,
okay, if we continue as the Republicans doing right now, erasing all the Black history, but
no, that's not what they do. Now, don't be lying on the people. Don't be lying on them. Nobody's erasing the history. You cannot.
Yes, no. Let's Smithsonian place up there.
What about it? Who cares?
They take it all the history, Black history.
Do we have
the
internet or not?
See, you love try to pop them up, don't you? You want to let me talk, man? Let me talk. Let me talk, baby boy. Can you let me talk?
Call me back next hour because you're whining a little bit too much for me this morning. You know, but call back next hour. You'll be able to finish that entourage of whatever. Yes, and I think it is time for term limits, state and federal. I think there is time for it. But if they all get together and have the same philosophy, well, what difference does it make who we put in? Okay. And again, the dog thing is this: you can't keep dogs. Man, I'm gonna give you 1 minute, and then I gotta.
Why did you hang up on me? No, I was trying to get somewhere with this thing.
Well, get there.
I'm trying to. All right, let me go and get right on there. Okay, there's something in this for white folks. If it's not about race, why in the hell are they in hot pursuit to take the little piece of black land from the blackest? If race doesn't matter, if the nigger, if they not want to take all this stuff from the Negroes, why is it that only white people are looking at this?
Let me ask you,
why is it that? So if they claim they're colorblind, that they say they're colorblind, why is it that
show me
white people only ones interested in?
Well, show me what they want to take from Negroes. What do they want to take?
They want to take the little district from them. They want to take the district that the federal government told Alabama ass years ago that y'all messed up down here big time. So y'all messed up big time. So they want to change the law to satisfy them when they want to remove it.
Hold it. All I want to know is, after having all of these districts,
Kevin,
folks in shape.
Why is it? You answer my question. Why is it then that?
Okay, call me next hour. We'll finish this. Okay, we've been whining about the wrong things. After all these special districts, it doesn't make any difference if you have a special district if you continue to vote the same way you always have. Democrats don't have to work for you, and the Republicans ignore you because they know you're not going to vote for them because you've been thoroughly 100% brainwashed for 70 years. So, and if you're black and you don't want to vote Democrat, then they, like what is that the Biden said when he was running for president? Well, if you don't vote for me, then you must be racist or whatever the dumb word he used. Okay, so hey. Yeah. So what have all these special districts done for black folks? Has it made us economically prosperous? Has it changed the potential posterity of the future? I don't think so. Okay. But they have given us more food stamps, and they have given us Section 8 in public housing, which is where we killing each other all the time. whether it's Chicago Cabrini Greens or St. Louis or Gary or any of these urban meccas, hell, even in Washington, D.C., which is called Chocolate City. I'm trying to figure out how in the world did that many black folks move to Washington, D.C., the head of our government, and that same government was responsible for not lending a hand for the most part back in the early 1800s or early 1900s, and Jim Crow was in effect. I don't know how we all moved up there. Hell, we all should just move to St. Louis or someplace. But anyway, so much for that. Keep the big lie going. No, make it make sense. That's what I'm saying. Make it make sense. If Democrats, we got all these districts, and I'm going to tell you, nothing is going to change. The same percentage of black folks was almost comparable to the same percentage of white folks who voted. We could have put anybody in office we wanted to besides a Democrat. We could have, without a special district. All you had to do is go out and vote. That's all you have to do. Just vote for somebody. I don't know. I think it may be time just to do away with the party. Just do away with it. Do away with this Democrat-Republican crap. I think Louisiana I think it's an open primary. You get in there, the people with the most votes win. And it shouldn't be this thing where, well, I don't think the Constitution said anything about you got to win 50% plus one. I don't think that's what the Constitution says. But I may have missed that part in the Declaration of Independence and Constitution. So and the Democrats have shown you, and I would imagine the Republicans at some point too, it don't make no difference who wins. If they don't want you, they get rid of you. Interesting. What's going on there, Simply Days?
Mayor, just trying to absorb it all in. I'm concerned for Duke's grandson if he, if he's a young black male walking the streets. The number one cause of death to young black males is not the Republican Party. It's not voting. It's what?
I hate to say it. You know what it is. You know what it is. I know what it is. You know what it is. So
that's what he needs to be concerned about. Because if you don't have a life and you can't live in peace and harmony, how are you ever going to get to the voting booth? But listening to all this stuff about gerrymandering and this special session and voting, and let's just take it at face value that this country is inherently racist. That they inherited it from wherever. Great Britain, colonial times, however we got to the point that we say we're inherently racist. How in the world, and you just laid it out, 14% of the population, that includes children, everybody, 14% of the population is African American within mix in there, and not all of those vote. So how in the world did President Obama get elected?
He got elected by a lot of white folks who wanted to assuage their guilt. That's what he did.
Well, I voted for him the first time, not because of guilt, because I wanted change. I got tired of... Which
is how we got Trump. We wanted change.
Exactly. And I wanted a new face, and I got snookered into believing that he was going to maybe stay straight in the middle. But I quickly learned that politicians don't always tell you the truth. And I quickly learned that Obamacare caused health care to go up 200% since it was enacted. But anyway, Jesse Jackson ran twice. And he certainly had, the second time, a heck of a lot more name recognition than Barack Obama did. And he carried, 13, he won 13 primaries in his second time.
I think that's what.
Yeah, I don't remember
what I read. 13. But how in the world could he do that if this country is inherently racist and you only make up 14% of the population?
12 to 14%, actually.
12 to 14, and then now, of course, Hispanics have taken over the.
Yeah. They are the majority minority now. So black folks done got below that. So
It's just incredible to me that we keep singing this same song, but yet reality smacks you in the face and says, "Well, how did Jesse Jackson win 13 primaries, and how did President Obama get elected?" I bet if you'd have told those old Dixie Democrats, those old yellow dog Democrats, that there would have been a black president, I bet you they would have said, "No way, Jose, never ever is going to happen."
Yeah,
and I'm just throwing that out there. And they had gerrymandering in 2008 when President Obama got elected, and as you said so clearly and so plainly, if people want to go to the vote, if they want to go vote, they'll go vote. Or if they want to sit at home and twiddle their thumbs. I remember as a young police officer doing a traffic detail over at Goode Street School when they called it Goode Street School. And I remember the voting lines would be so long, they would be down the street, and we'd have to provide traffic. And people stood out there in the 90 degrees heat, and they voted.
Mm-hmm. I hear you.
Black and white. And I mean, it's like you said, if you want to go vote,
you can go vote.
You can go vote
for whoever you want to. But what the Democrats want,
go ahead.
And what the Democrats want, because the same percentage of black people voted as white folks did in 2020. I'm going to say we're probably not much far off from that, which means we could have taken that vote and given that vote to whomever we wanted to, and I guess we did. So even with the special districts, it does not make more people come out and vote. It just means that the people who do come out and vote will be so gerrymandered that they only can vote really legitimately. They're going to get one party or the other. So yeah, I mean, and you're what you're going to see in your lifetime and my lifetime is what you're seeing is the effect of, and it's just like in professions, it is laziness. Yes.
Young people don't want to go and stand in a line. Mm-mm. If they can't do it on their phone, then they're not going to put forth the effort.
And to tell you the truth, if we live in an electronic age, if we will let people vote online using their social security number, that would change. Now, I can't tell you that it's actually them that's doing the vote, but the vote would count. You can only vote one time. Everybody has a different social security number. Hey, just hold on there, Ken, and I'll get with you. Anyway.
Facebook isn't secure. If the federal government can't secure all their sites,
right,
and they hack from these foreign countries, I would really be concerned about that. But have a good day, Mayor. I'll let you get your guest on.
Let me get my guest on here. See, y'all said that a Republican guy wouldn't show up. Okay. Wait, let me make sure I see that they see who this is. All right. Now, this is Ken McFeeters. He is running for government. But his claim to fame at the moment is, I don't know if he's going to be successful doing this or not, but Ken thinks that Mr. Tuberville should not be on the ballot. Is that a correct statement there, Ken?
Yes, it is. said he just came out this weekend. I posted it on Facebook, and this kind of blew my mind. There was a Scott Johnson at Lagniappe Daily down in Mobile did an article. He got the homestead information of that little home in Auburn, and we've been told since day one that Tupperville, has homesteaded the home in Auburn, and that's his proof of residency for the last 7 years. Turns out he didn't. His son did up till 2 years ago. So now they're changing the narrative to, well, that's not it. So what we're saying now is, what does resident citizen really mean? And his staff is saying it's never been defined. What our Constitution says, to be governor, you have to be a resident citizen of Alabama for 7 years to run for governor and lieutenant governor. And if you have not been a resident citizen, you're unconstitutionally able to run. Well, now they're saying, well, there's really never been a definition of resident citizen. And it's like, it's insanity. Excuse me. So if that's I know I'm not a legal scholar, but I know what resident citizen does not mean. It does not mean you can live in your $6 million beach house for 7 years and then claim, just because your wife's on the name of a home in Auburn, claim you live there and then run for governor. I'm not that dumb. And he's going to end up in jail.
Well, let me ask you a question, though. We, as citizens of America, can be dual citizens, okay? Whether it's Jamaican, Canada, whatever the case may be. There's no such thing as a dual citizenship for states?
No, there's only one country in the United States that you can actually be a dual citizen, and that is Israel, which that's a whole nother can of worms. Tupperville got $250,000 from the IPAC, but you have to renounce your citizenship in every other country if you want to be a citizen in the United States.
Well, you can be dual citizen with Jamaica. You can be dual citizens with Jamaica also.
Are you sure about that? Because if you're born in Jamaica and then come to the United States, you have to announce your citizenship. Where if you're a United States citizen and go to Jamaica and live in Jamaica, you can have a dual citizenship, is my understanding.
Well, but either way, it's dual. I'm just thinking. Let me ask you, we all know that Tupperville does have a history in Alabama. Is yours strictly one of a technical nature? Your complaint strictly one of a technical nature, or is it a one-upsmanship over him to get him released?
Our constitutions are sacred. Constitutions is what gives the people the power. People have forgotten. The people have the power, and we have it through our constitutions. And we empower government with our constitution. But more importantly, and that's one of the big things I'm running for, is Article 1, Section 35 of Alabama's Constitution. And this is what it blows my mind. We've gotten so far away from this. Article 1, Section 35 of Alabama's Constitution states that the sole and only legitimate end of government, the sole and only legitimate end of government is to protect the citizen, that's us, in the pursuit of life, liberty, and property. And anything other is usurpation and oppression. That means 90% of what government does is usurpation and oppression. And usurpation is illegally taking power or authority that's not yours. And that's what most of what the government does these days. I mean, there's so many things. And I contend also, like marijuana. What part of regulating marijuana is, I'm not for or against marijuana. I'm just saying, because, some of there's ladies around that are trying to keep kids off marijuana and drugs, and I think that's admirable. That's fantastic. But if a 45-year-old man wants to smoke a joint, what part of protecting us and our life, liberty, and property is regulating marijuana? I don't understand. We haven't given the government the authority to do that. And we're the people. And our Constitution, that's what I'm getting to the point, is our constitutions are sacred. And our Constitution said we want the governor of Alabama to have ties to Alabama. And Tupperville moved from Alabama after he quit coaching or after they fired him, coaching at Auburn. Gave him $6 million and fired him. That's what he bought his beach house with. Then he moved to Texas, and then he moved to Ohio, and then on his own admission on TV and everywhere, we've got him on tape saying, well, I retired to the beach. And so that's where he's lived, and he's got a $6 million house down there. And then he said, well, okay, I'll run for the U.S. Senate. That's fine. To run for U.S. Senate, you only have to live in Alabama for 1 day. That's all you've got to do to run for Senate. And that's how Hillary Clinton became senator of New York. She didn't live in New York, but she went up there and ran and lived there for 1 day, so she can run. Running for governor is totally different. The people of Alabama stated, we don't want carpetbaggers coming down here, globalists and Washington, D.C. folks, and taking over our government. And that's why we want our governor to have ties to Alabama. And the people said 7 years. Well, he hasn't lived here in, 15 years or 20 years since he coached at Auburn. And he's lying, and his campaign's lying. And now they're changing it. And this is going to open a whole can of worms. He's probably going to get charged with a criminal charge of voter fraud, because they're saying now, well, what does resident citizen really mean? It's never been defined. Well, most common people, the Constitution applies to us, obviously not to him. We know what resident citizen means. You're living in Alabama for 7 years. And so, but they're saying, well, it's okay to live in Florida as long as you own a house in Alabama. But that gets into voter fraud because he's been voting in Alabama. And it's kind of like, well, that's another. You cannot vote. If you live in Florida, it's voter fraud to Alabama. That's a felony. I mean, he's probably going to end up in jail if he's not careful.
Well, I guess what we would ask ourselves, kind of like what Clinton said, it depends on what is. So
is.
Yeah. So if I have a house in Alabama and I come stay there maybe every 6 months, like let's say if this place was Hawaii, okay, he had a place in Hawaii, he lived there most of the time, but he still got a house in Alabama. Why couldn't that be considered living there?
Well, I mean, the courts have always said for running for political office, it's where you lay your head. So, and it says, the resident citizen for 7 years. Well, that's where you lay your head. You cannot have a house of convenience to get around the Constitution. And if you're this, if you're flaunting the fact that the Constitution doesn't apply to you, it applies to the rest of us, I guarantee if any of us tried this, regular folks, we'd be smacked upside the head. But it doesn't apply to him, and nor to people in his little the elites, they call them, or whatever. It's like, and it's wrong. And if you're going to flaunt the fact that the Constitution does not apply to you, and the very first function of a governor is putting your hand on the Bible and swearing to uphold the Constitution. And if you just flagrantly flaunted the fact that the Constitution doesn't apply to you, and the very first thing you do is put your hand on the Bible and swear to uphold it, that's the epitome of hypocrisy, total BS. It's nonsense. And
now there are people. Yeah, there are people who will say, well, Ken's not doing too good in the polls, so he's bringing this up in order to gain some sort of notoriety. What would you say to that?
That's why I'm running for governor. I want our freedoms back. We've had so many of our freedoms back, and I know they're giving him $20 million to run. AIPAC, or AAPAC, the Israeli Political Action Committee or whatever, has given him $250,000. He's come out against the First Amendment, which freedom of speech, where you can't criticize the Zionists in Israel and their expansionism without it being a hate crime, which is total nonsense. That's our First Amendment. So he's not paying attention to Alabama's Constitution, nor is he paying attention to the U.S. Constitution. And they're not giving me, and you have to wonder, why isn't the ALGOP questioning where he lives? Why are they just giving him a free pass? Why is the media doing that? Why is the court system? We filed suit and petitioned for a speedy trial before the primary. They're dragging their feet. The first judge recused herself, and the second judge is dragging his feet, and they're not going to rule, or not, we're not going to have a jury trial before the primary. And it's like, who in the heck controls the ALGOP, the media? I was the only other declared Republican for 8 months before the closing date, the shutoff date, and the conservative media, 1819 News and Yellowhammer, never mentioned my name. The only other declared Republican, and my name was never mentioned. And I'm a constitutionalist. I believe in the Constitution. I believe constitutions are what empower the people. And then we, in turn, use the constitutions to empower the government, but more important, limit the government. So that's where we get our rights. And the politicians these days are just stomping all over it. So, and that's the great thing about this. Tommy Tuberville's unconstitutionally able to run. He's gotten, the first day he announced when he was going to run for governor, I mean, he was going to be our next governor. He didn't announce he was going to run. He said, and there were, I think, 8 or 10 guys that lined up and gave him $100,000 checks. Well, you can't beat those guys. I mean, but he's unconstitutionally able to run. So for the first time, if he steps down, or he's probably going to end up in jail if he doesn't, and we're going to have a governor that doesn't owe $20 million to the deep state and then do what they're told. We're going to have a governor that will actually work for the people, that will try to get our rights back. And there's so many of them. I mean, it's my big three are but you are right though. You cannot beat the machine that's behind Tommy Tuberville, and it's not because he's smart. He's not even campaigning. He's pulling a Joe Biden. He's letting the machine elect him. He has not been on one TV show other than just giving a speech saying, I hate Muslims and all that kind of stuff, just using divisive things to divide the people. But he's not. The local Channel 6 here, whatever, or 13, interviewed all the political candidates running for governor, every single one, except Tuberville.
What is your profession?
I started an insurance agency when I was 21 years old, and I've been doing that for 45 years. I'm 66 now.
Okay, insurance agency.
And I work in Bessemer, Alabama. So I've worked out there, my office out there. I've been out there about 35 years. And I really relate to the Democrats who vote. The backbone of the Democratic Party in Alabama are the people I work with in Bessemer. They're the rank and file. And like our party, my party, the people that rule the Democrats aren't the voters. It's kind of like the people that are, writing Doug Jones $1 million. He's got $1 million. No one else has. They're not the folks that are representing my customers and my friends in Bessemer. It's like they're the transgender folks, and knock yourself out. Whatever you want to do, knock yourself out. If you're an adult, I don't believe in this stuff, transitioning children. But I mean, if you're an adult, I don't care what you do. Be your own. Be whatever you want to do. But I don't like them teaching that to children in schools and then trying to transition them. That's wrong. So and our schools are it's idiotic what our schools have. And
yes.
And that's my big three are food independence, our schools, and medicine. And our schools, this is not conspiracy. This is history. If you look back at Rockefeller taking over the educational system, he also took over the medical schools 100 years ago. And since that day, our schools have been used to indoctrinate our children to make them complicit workers, not critical thinkers. Our schools are intentionally, listen to this, our schools are intentionally not educating our kids. Our schools teach two things, memorization and compliance. Remember what you're told and do what you're told. They're not teaching any virtue. They're not, if you listen to the folks in history, the greatest minds in history, the way to have a successful life is to be virtuous. They don't teach virtue in school at all. And that's one of the first things I want to do. Ben Franklin has a little course. And it's another thing. Ben Franklin said, only the virtuous can be free. So the only way, and that's why I'm running, I want to be free. I want my freedoms back. The only way I can get my freedoms back is if we teach our children to be virtuous, because only the virtuous can be free. Then we get our rights back. Thomas Jefferson said that only an ignorant country and a free country is what never was and never will be. They want us ignorant because the ignorant, they can enslave us and rule us. And that's what they're doing. And so we have to bring and take our educational system back. Get the bureaucrats, the federal government, and the globalists and the elites out of our school system. Give it back to local communities. And then, it's insanity. Why are we teaching intentionally and teaching our kids? And it goes into medicine. Just recently, there was a big study on ivermectin and fenbendazole as a cancer treatment. And a big study, and it showed 85% of the people that took it had a dramatic either remission, cure, or much improved quality of life with ivermectin and fenbendazole. The medical community is still pushing radiation and chemotherapy, which only has about a 20% success, and it costs $125,000 per treatment is the average. And then the referring doctor gets, I think, $12,000 to $15,000 referral fee. They are coming out against, and you've seen it, they're horse drugs and stuff, they're coming out against, it only costs maybe $1,000 to treat, and they've got, multiples better outcome with fenbendazole and ivermectin, and it costs $1,000. But it goes back to our school systems. Our school systems teach memorization and compliance. Do what you're told and remember what you're told. And if you excel at this, make straight A's in the school system, where do the straight A students get accepted first? The best, the brightest of each school go to medical school. So our medical community is full of people from the get-go, intentionally, because Rockefeller intended this it took over the medical schools. And it's full of people that remember what they're told and do what they're told. And that's why we had the result of the last 7 years with the COVID reaction and shut down our government, medical tyranny. It's insane. So it's kind of like we got to take medicine back and give it back to critical thinkers and take the profit out of it, because they treat us, for profit, they treat us, they don't cure us. And if you look around, everybody's unhealthy. Not everybody, but the vast majority. We, as a group, we're unhealthier now than we ever have been in the history of the United States by design.
Would you support? Do you support the lottery?
I would 100% support the lottery if we could do it this way in a clean lottery bill, and that's going to be almost impossible because the legislature is the one that's going to throw it to the people to be voted on. But I would support it if we could take proceeds from that. Georgia and some of the other states, they give it in scholarships to college and pay for the college. Well, and this is why a lot of people don't like the lottery, because it's generally the poorer people that support the lottery. And yet the kids that go to college are generally middle class. So the beneficiaries of Georgia's lottery are the middle class and yet being paid for by the poor. And I disagree with that. I think we should take the money, the proceeds, and put it into mental health. And that'll do two things. Our prisons are vastly overcrowded, and currently we treat our mentally ill usually in prison. With the drug addictions, the alcohol addictions, and the mentally ill generally end up in prison. And that overcrowds our prison and that's why they keep letting the violent criminals out. If we could take that money and treat our mentally ill the way they should be treated, and with respect and with love and care, that would uncrowd our prisons. We could keep the violent criminals out of our neighborhoods, have safer neighborhoods, and we'll treat the mentally ill with respect, the way they should be treated, not just stick them in prison. So I would definitely do a lot of that. And when it gets up to a couple of billion, I'm in Florida or Georgia, I'll buy a lottery ticket. I mean, and that probably, it's like everything else corrupt. Epstein, the guy that hung himself in prison or whatever, he supposedly has won the lottery twice. So it's rigged. So, I mean, but, nonetheless, when I go to Georgia or Florida, and there's it's up to a couple of $1 billion, I'm buying a few tickets.
Yeah, well,
so,
I do too. Speaking of our prison system now, and I know you understand it because you're an educated man, but the governor does not pass laws.
The
governor merely signs the law and make it go into effect, or not sign it and then let them override it, and then it goes into effect. But either way, the governor really has little or no power when it comes to law, except to sign it or not sign it. And even if she don't sign it, again, they can override her veto and bring it anyway. So how do you find your way around that? I hear what you're saying. Marijuana. I mean, listen, cigarettes give you cancer. The state makes billions. Alcohol. There are more people in jail in the hospitals because of alcohol than drugs. And
100%
and we sell that. So what makes you think that, that we're not going to sell? I mean, I don't know why we can't sell marijuana. Maybe the drug dealers have got to them and say, hey, that's our venue and leave that alone. But I don't have a problem. If you're stupid and you want to put stuff in your body, good riddance. Like my addiction is Coca-Cola. Everybody's got some addiction.
At least they took the cocaine out of Coca-Cola.
Well, they did. Yeah, they did.
Well, but you are 100% right about the legislature making the laws. Article 1, Section 35, and I've said this from day one, that the sole and only legitimate end of government is to protect the citizen in the pursuit of life, liberty, and property, and anything other than that is usurpation and oppression. I want to put that on a big marble plaque or a statue, a big monument at the entrance. We're building a big, beautiful new building down in Montgomery to house the legislature. I want to put that at the entrance of every entrance to the building, and also a big plaque at every meeting room in the building to remind those guys, because they're all good guys. It's a very few people that run Montgomery that are not good. Most of the people we send down there are good people and they want what's right. We have to remind them, guys, you're overstepping your bounds. What most of government does right now is unconstitutional. They don't have the right. It's like licensing. If something's legal, constitutional, that people made the Constitution, the power of government, if it's something constitutional, you don't need a license from the government because it's constitutional. So you don't need a license. If something's unconstitutional, a license doesn't make it legal. So it's much.
Right. We live in a society right now where every Tom, Dick, and Harry is walking around with a gun, either known or unknown to us. Would you want to repeal this law where we don't have to have a license to carry a concealed weapon? Do you think I don't? And the Constitution, as a matter of fact, I don't see anywhere in the Constitution which said everybody had a right to carry a gun unless they were part of the militia. That's the part I read about the Second Amendment. Not every Tom, Dick, and Harry, but what do you think about this walk around with a gun in your pocket? Nobody has to know. You don't have to have a license or anything. Do you support that?
Well, I've got a 22 little revolver in my pocket, and I've got right there. I've got a 380 in my. So I can't really talk. I mean, it's just. I believe an armed society is a polite society, and I don't think it's the guns that are causing the problem. It's our schools intentionally are making our kids stupid to enslave us. Thomas Jefferson, ignorant country and a free country is what never was and never will be. Guys, your schools are intentionally making our kids stupid. And it would be so easy to fix. Our schools were taken over by Marxists. Marxists use division to divide us. They divide us by race. They divide us by political party. They divide us by income. They divide us by sexuality. Anything they can do to divide us, they're going to do it. It's the Republicans and the Democrats. They're both in on it. And it's like the people can't be divided anymore. We have to come together. We're the ones that own the Constitution, the people. We're the ones that only the people can change the Constitution, not the government. They can put it up for an election, but only the people can vote to change the Constitution. And we got to come together, folks. We got to take our government back and curtail what it's doing. The Patriot Act.
Well, the Patriot Act was the Patriot Act. But would you support in the state level constitutional term limits?
100%. Yes. I mean, when I turned 18 years old, and this is why I became a Republican, When I was 18 years old, I was living in Hoover or whatever. I looked around at Montgomery, and it was a whole lot easier back then to be a Democrat. The Democrats controlled Montgomery top to bottom. They controlled the state legislature since Reconstruction, since the Civil War. The Democrats were in charge of Montgomery up until 2010. They controlled the state legislature from the Civil War up to 2010. Well, when I was, and this was in 76, or 78 when I turned 18 years old and was going to be able to vote, I looked down at Montgomery. It's like, my God, that's a corrupt, awful place. And it was completely controlled top to bottom by the Democrats. And it's like, I'm not that. I am not that. I'm a Republican. I'm a good guy. Well, in 2010, it switched over to the Republicans in charge. And I've worked with my industry down in Montgomery for 25 years, trying to protect my industry's interests, because the government messed with my industry and my business and almost put us out of business. Like, guys, can't do this. So I got politically active, and I saw intimately how Montgomery works. Well, in 2010, and I was down there before then, it switched over to the Republicans in charge. Nothing changed. The same people that were in charge down there when the Democrats controlled are down there in charge when the Republicans are in charge. And guess who they're all supporting? My opponent. So it's got, but it's like I became a Republican because I didn't like the good old boy backroom deals, the legislature protecting market share, the legislature protecting, and that's why our medical industry is so screwed up. The legislature kicks out everybody that brings something new to the table, like ivermectin and fenbendazole. They're going to put you in jail if you recommend that, or it costs $1,000 to treat cancer, and much, much, much better outcome without the sickness or it killing you than radiation and chemotherapy. But yet our legislatures are going to put you in jail if you come out with that, or even question that. Doctors lost their licenses when they used it as a cure for COVID, and they lost their license and did this bar.
Well, let's talk about something that most of us don't understand, ivermectin and the rest of that stuff. But one thing we certainly understand is money.
There's a reason. Right.
Yeah. The federal government minimum wage is still $7.25 an hour. Isn't it time that Alabama's minimum wage should certainly not be a replica of that? It's time to pay people. Now, we don't want to pay them too much because we all know that when you pay people more, things go up. But in this case, things have already gone up and we're not getting paid anymore. Is it time to take the minimum wage to $15 an hour at a minimum?
It's Henry Ford. Henry Ford said it's well enough that the people of the United States or America don't understand our banking and the financial system, for if they did, listen to this, if they did, there would be a revolution before tomorrow morning. That's how idiotic and archaic our financial system is in the United States. Congress, the people, again, our Constitution, we gave Congress the ability to coin money, the power to coin money. 100 years ago, Congress ceded that authority to a group of 7 men. Those 7 men are the billionaires, trillionaires, or not billionaires, multi-trillionaires that you never hear about. They tell you Bill Gates and Elon Musk are the richest guys in the world. They're not even close. The guys that print the currency get to print it when we go in debt. It's why we have endless wars and creates debt. It's why we have endless entitlement programs, third generation entitlement programs that keep people addicted to it, creates debt. That's why we have open borders. Open borders cost us $500 billion a year because we're bringing folks here that is a net negative on the social services. My guy, my opponent said, we got to pass that big, beautiful bill. The problem's not, is what I'm getting to, the problem's not the minimum wage. The problem is government spending. During COVID, they printed trillions and trillions of dollars. Now you go to McDonald's, it costs $15 for a couple of burgers, a French fry, and a drink. When I was 16, I'd skip school, drive down to McDonald's. I'd go to McDonald's, get 2 hamburgers, a small fry, and a small Sprite. It cost me $1. Now that's $15. The problem is not the minimum wage. The problem is our financial policy. And that's why Alabama.
Right, but the average citizen, that's complicated. We don't know anything about the Federal Reserve and all of that stuff. I got you. The way for
that's
us
by design, you don't know.
Yeah, sure. But we can't change it, right? But we can. What I can do is when I go to work, at least get a comparable pay to help me deal with some of that. And we need to take the minimum wage up in Alabama to at least $15 an hour. I mean, we're just getting screwed, glued, and tattooed.
But that's from spending. It's not.
I got you, but we don't. But the poor man don't care about the politics of it. All he knows is Alabama Power keeps going up, and my check don't.
They get a raise, but we don't.
Yeah, exactly.
Wait a minute, guys. And and I 100% agree. And I mean, and the wages are going up, and they will go up. Now the government.
Hey, wait a minute. It's $7.25 now. That's the minimum wage in Alabama is still $7.25. So they can pay anywhere between then and that. I understand that. But if we made everybody making at least $15 an hour, and that's not great either, considering because I know that the minimum wage goes up, everybody's going to use that as an excuse to take their prices up, and they're already 100%. Up. I got that. I know, but we got to do something in order to average guy. You shouldn't have to have a college degree to make decent money. You should have to have a willingness to work. And most men,
right now, a college degree is not all that. Besides debt,
AI is pretty much take care of that. Yeah.
Right, they're going to take care of those jobs. I mean, the guys making the money. An air conditioner repairman, a plumber, a carpenter, those guys are the ones making the money right now. HVAC guys, start a company, get a few trucks, you'll end up a millionaire. They're paying, you got a guy out to work on your camper. I've got a camper at the lake. I mean, he charged me $300 for 1 hour's worth of work. It's like, ouch. If you're willing to work hard, stay sober. And that's Ben Franklin. And this is what I want to teach in our schools, to teach actually people to be virtuous. Ben Franklin had a little course, and every day, this is when I'm elected or whatever, every kid in school in Alabama, 1 hour a day, every day they're in school, will learn Ben Franklin's virtues course. Ben Franklin, when he was 18 years old, arguably one of the most successful men in history, and he credits his success in history with this little program he developed coming back on a sailing trip from England when he was 18 years old. He wanted to be virtuous because he knew virtue was the key to success in life. Well, he has 13 virtues, and 2 in the middle are hard work and thriftiness. Save your money and work hard. And just those 2 out of the 13, if you just do those 2, more than likely, you and by extension, your children are probably going to have a successful life, just if you work hard and save money. But he started the 13, and every week at the end of every day, so every kid goes into the school or whatever, and the first week you study the first virtue. And then at the end of the day or in class, you say, well, every day say, did I live up to that? Did I not live up to that? What did I do wrong where I didn't live up to it? And what can I do to improve it? Second week, you start on the second one. At the end of 13 weeks, you start all over. He did this course most of his life till he died, and credits his success in life. And it's incredible and how successful he was.
Let me ask you, you don't have you don't preach anywhere, do you?
No.
Okay. No. Because we still haven't got to the question I asked. Would you support higher minimum wage for the state of Alabama?
I don't think that's government's job. I mean, I love it, but I think government's job, if we stop spending so much daggone money and stop voting for candidates that are doing this and spending multi-trillion dollar bills that are paying for, like, the immigration. If we stop immigration, both parties are doing it. The big, beautiful bill, if you look, Elon Musk, everyone knows Elon Musk. He pointed out all the NGOs that are paid through the U.S. government, USAID, that both sides are paying for and orchestrating the mass migration of people from south of the border because it creates debt. The debt is the reason our money's not worth as much as anymore. I want less government, not more government. And just to say, cost more, everyone gets $15. That's selling out, and that's trying to buy votes and not create.
When I got to pay Ken, when I got to pay rent, it ain't selling out. It's trying to make a decent living and be able to pay the
Totally
rent,
right.
the light bill, and all these things. So, okay, but you answered the question. So you're really not for a $15 minimum wage?
I think the free market is what it is, and I think everyone should get more money. But if we fix the problem, our money would be worth more.
I mean,
that's
I hear what you're saying, and yours
Mm-hmm.
is a theoretical perspective and not one of pragmatism. Because pragmatically, people need right now, they got to pay rent on the first every month. They got to pay it, and and in your profession, my brother, everybody's getting screwed with the high price of insurance. So
totally agree.
That goes up.
Our prices have doubled as you know.
So how do we pay for it?
When I was growing up, minimum wage was $2. I think
Me too. But how do we pay for it though? So we agree that the citizen is getting screwed, but you don't want to take the minimum wage up and to help those citizens. I know that on the back.
I want to fix the problem. You want to put a Band-Aid on it.
How long is that going to take?
You got to start today. I mean, that's the thing. You got to start today. We got to start fixing the problem and stop electing these idiots and sending them to DC and sending them into the governor's office that aren't fixing the problem, or just, you know, pacifying the people saying, what you need is $15. No, what you need is a decent education. If we taught our kids virtues, values and virtues, you wouldn't have this problem. And there's another thing. If we teach our kids virtues, and the number one virtue that Franklin put is sobriety, temperance. Don't drink to excess and don't eat to dullness. And he put that number one because if he figured you couldn't work on the other 12 virtues if you were drunk or on drugs. So, you know, do that first. If we taught our kids to be virtuous, big companies from all over the world will fall all over themselves to come to Alabama to hire our virtuous kids.
Right.
All the kids killing each other would stop overnight. It would only take a couple of years because they're not being taught virtue by design. The government wants our kids stupid. Your kids are being taught to be stupid by design.
I would agree.
We got to fix the government.
The most important question of the day is, what is your dog's name?
She goes to work. That's Carly. She goes to work with me every single day, and she sits in the back in the kitchen. And little girls come back there and pet her on the head or whatever because they got a little gate. And
that's a German Shepherd, right? That's a German Shepherd, right? I love that. I love those. Yeah, I love those dogs. Well, Ken, listen, good luck. I don't know how it's going to go with you and Mr. Tuberville and how that's going to all work out. But if on election day I see him in handcuffs, I know what happened.
I mean, if he doesn't do something, I mean, when they're changing the narrative, they said, you know, no, we homesteaded for 7 years. And now they're changing the narrative and say, well, we really didn't homestead, but what does it mean to live in Alabama? You know, it's like, well, so you're saying you don't live in Alabama now? That means his staff is admitting he's guilty of voter fraud. That's a crime. He's going to end up in jail. So if he steps down before the election, I'll be the Republican nominee. And then I don't know if you're a Democrat. I'm assuming your political leanings are Democrat. Then I'll take on the Democrat in November. And I think I can get a lot of Democrat votes because I think most Democrats think like I do. The working, not the ones that run the party, just like the ones that run my party and I are butting heads. You know, they're all part of the same. The ones that run the Democrats and the ones that run the Republicans, they're not the good guys. They're the ones that work for the same people. I want the people to get our power back. And the only way we can get our power back is if the people take it back with our constitutions. And that the working man Republican and the working man Democrat, they will vote for me, especially if Doug Jones wins. But Malcolm X said that the worst thing for America and the worst thing for a black man is a white liberal. And it's kind of like, well, there's worse than that. I can take it up a notch. The worst thing for America, everyone, and the worst thing for black, white, everybody is a Mountain Brook white liberal. They're horrible. They're what's wrong with our school systems. So it's kind of like, I think I can win the election in November. Got to get past Tommy Tuberville, and hopefully, he won't end up in jail if he steps down, because you can't keep changing the narrative every time. We got all those flight logs. All the senators turn in their reimbursement for the flights, quote unquote, home. And all those flights were going down to the beach. For the first 4 years. Last year it changed, and he started flying more to Auburn and Alabama. But for the first 3 or 4 years, they're all flying down to the beach. I ran a Carfax on them. I'm sorry.
Love you coming on, talking to us. We'll hopefully good luck. And
thank you, sir. Great talking to you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Gotta take a break. We'll be back. Down there, don't need all that music. Well, he's an interesting guy. I can't believe that the minimum wage in Alabama is still $7.25. Basically, it's the same as the federal government is, which is $7.25. I think $15 a little short too, but at least it would double what it is now. He's dependent on some philosophical economic answers, but I'm just afraid that those answers ain't gonna help people pay the light bill. Okay, that ain't gonna help the people pay the light bill and the Alabama power bill and the gas bill and all that stuff. I don't know. There's got to be somebody smarter than me out there. There's got to be somebody smarter than I am. I mean, you got to raise people's wages. But if you raise people's wages and the goods and services go up on the same day, did you really raise their wages? No, you did not. You did. I don't know. There's got to be somebody smart enough to figure out how to do that. I'm not in a position to do anything. It's got to be somebody smart enough to get people a decent living if they're willing to put in decent work. So everything they make don't have to go to the light bill or the mortgage or the interest rates. I mean, there's got to be some smart guy out there that can handle this. Now, it certainly is not me because I can't figure it out. I thought it was going to be Trump, but I don't know. It's easier to talk about money when you got it than it is when you don't have it. Yeah. Oh well. Yeah, Don.
Tell me where in the hell somebody's working for $7.
Oh, I don't think nobody's working for $7, but that is the wage.
So it's just stupid. I mean, anybody.
It is the minimum wage for Alabama, though.
I don't care. Nobody's gonna work for it.
Well, okay.
I mean, if you got a brain, you can go to McDonald's and make $15 an hour.
I don't know if they pay $15 an hour yet, but
yeah, they do. Go over there and get your job. Nah. But that guy wasted. How much time did he just waste?
Well, he's a government.
I mean, because out of your 12 viewers, not one damn person's going to vote for him.
Well, he's
the whites ain't going to vote for him, and no blacks are going to vote for him.
Well, probably not, but, he had a right to run. He's running.
And when is his big case going to come? The party's already threw his complaint out. And when's the election? In the next couple of weeks?
Yeah.
He's on the ballot. And after Tuberville wins, you think there's going to be any court that will throw out that election results?
Well, I don't personally know.
No, nobody's going to throw out the election.
Well, never
say never.
Got
no chance in hell.
Yeah.
But he wants to get his name out there, I guess. But it was a waste of time. You shouldn't have gave him that much time. People probably would rather hear me, but but it's just stupid with this minimum wage thing. You got to be a moron if you don't make $15 an hour, because people, if you'll come to work, see, that's the other problem. If you'll come to work, you can get a job making that. And then the other stupid part of it, why are we worried about colleges when these damn people can't even read and write? Your average ACT score over at Carver's 12. Only a third of the people can read on level, and we worried about them going to college. What a joke!
Well, I don't know. It's got to be somebody to fix the problems. Sergeant Airborne can't fix everything. I can't think, but hell, they wouldn't even make me a jump master. So, I don't know, but I know one thing. And again, like I told him, in his profession, the insurance is going up. Who's going to pay that? I mean, after a while, and I'm not joking, we're going to have people on incomes that don't go up or down. Once every couple of years, they got to decide whether or not they want to eat, pay the rent, or pay the light bill. And I've never been a proponent of the minimum wage. I think you should be able to negotiate whatever you get paid, and with your perspective or your current employer. But it looks like that ain't working either. So I don't know. They need to do something. We need to do something. I don't know what, but that ain't my call. I'm old school down. Good morning.
Kevin.
Yes.
Why would you complain? I mean, you told us to vote for the Conservatives or Republican Party. I mean, they make sure that they make sure that your living expense kept up with the minimum wage, and minimum wage kept up with your living expense and everything.
No. I mean, I tell you to adhere to their philosophy. That's what I say.
I know, but philosophy. Let me tell you what I saw with the philosophy thing yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
I saw the damn gas at a couple gas stations, $4.19, $4.09, and a box of screws is $15, and gross is high as hell. So, what about that philosophy? Philosophically, you talked about. You want me to join this party? You want me to join this party that's starving the hell out of all of us and everything going up? That's what you want us to join.
I didn't say any. I don't belong to the Republican Party.
You tell us all the time that
the philosophy.
Don't fool with the Democrats. Don't fool with the Democrats.
That's right.
Don't fool with the Democrats.
Right.
Democrats will throw you a damn box of cheese every once in a while. Hell, what the Republicans give you?
Okay.
I said every once in a while you throw you a box of cheese.
Okay.
For all your hard work.
Well, I
for
think
being a citizen
I
in this
think
country.
the Republican.
But what do the Republican Party do for you? What have Trump done for you?
I think the Republican Party would rather you do for yourself.
Kevin, nope, that ain't what he said. He says he's gonna bring the prices down, and insurance gonna be wrapped in a damn bow tie. It's gonna be the best ever you ever had. Then after he got elected, he said, "Get your money and buy your own insurance. Get your money back for the insurance." That's all he said.
Wait a minute.
Have you heard anything else about the insurance?
Wait a minute. What, did we not hear you get to keep your doctor and your insurance is going to go down by $2,500?
How long ago Obama was in there? Obama was in there two damn terms ago.
Did we not hear that?
See, y'all love. See, here's what I love about you so-called conservatives.
Well,
when you get cornered off, you go to reaching back in the past. But you tell us to leave the damn past alone.
Well, that's right.
You tell us to leave the past alone, but you talk about Barack Obama. He's not the damn president.
I said, don't live there.
Trump is in that White House and everything is high as hell, so you want me to vote for these damn folks that run shit up. In other words, what you trying to tell me?
But Biden and Obama.
You trying to tell me to vote for somebody, this party that Tuberville and all of them going to take over in the state of Alabama. You're going to tell us to vote for these people that are going to continue to start the hell out of us?
Wait a minute. I'm not telling you who to vote for. I'm not telling you who to vote for.
You telling us, damn it, that we should follow your damn philosophy or your damn philosophical damn thought process or some old bullshit you're talking about.
The way things are going, hell, I'm gonna have to vote for Jamil.
Like the man was on there a while ago. Yeah. When you conservative and when you were talking about minimum wage and shit, and when you telling me that you can't hardly pay your rent, he said, "Oh, we just can't do that."
Yeah, I know.
You know,
he lost me. He lost me on that.
So you know that. Yeah. You know, he worried about Tuberville getting his. He trying to get his too, ain't he?
Oh well.
Oh, have mercy. Your philosopher or philosophical damn group of folks.
Yeah, I know that's a little hard for you. Spell philosophy.
Huh?
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay. Okay. I'm just saying. Yeah, that's my thing. We all live by a philosophy. I realize one of us live by something, some principle, some ingredient that makes us who we are. That's our personal philosophy. We all live by one. Some is a criminal philosophy. Hey, if I can't make it, steal it. They believe that. Okay, that's their philosophy of life. If I can't break it, take it. Okay, I'm with you. I love that dog the guy had, though. I love German Shepherds. They are such a loyal dog. Okay, I'm just trying to tell you, I love those dogs. As a matter of fact, moving on to other things. I'm still trying to figure out if it's approximately the same percentage of people that voted. Okay, I live by a big lie. Okay, what's the big lie? Let me put this to rest. Okay, Camille, what's the big lie? Okay. Oh, listen. Hey, listen. I think there ought to be some rent control. It makes no sense that people can come in here, buy apartment complexes up with poor people in them, put them out, take the rent so sky high that the same people, now you got new people because the old people can't afford. I believe there ought to be rent control. Yeah, and not just in projects. Sound like a Democrat. Well, I didn't say Democrats are always wrong. I said I'm like Scott Beeson. Democrats are mostly right about the things they're concerned about. They're just wrong about the remedy. That's all. I'm not saying they're not right. They right about a lot of things. You know, people need to eat. People need a place to stay. You know, and right now the only way people get a place to stay around here is going to jail. So right now I don't know what we're gonna do when everybody starts breaking the law because they can't afford to live where they live. They get some free food, you know, free medicine, all that kind of stuff. You must be bored down there in Florida.
I am, but I just thinking, you think old Seaman had a choice between Camilla the Bed and the Great Dane, that he wouldn't take the Great Dane?
I don't know. Okay, then. I can't tell you. Like the song says, it's your thing. Do what you want to do. I can't tell you who to sock it to. I don't know what the relevance of that is, but okay then. The big lie, Big Daddy. Damn, that one down. Let's see. I'm just trying to figure out the big lie. Which big lie are you talking about, Camilla? Just tell me which one we're talking about so I can have a conversation about it. I don't know what you're talking about. The big lie. The conservative philosophy is still better for America than the Democratic one. I didn't say the conservatives. I said the philosophy is better. The problem is it's good to talk about philosophy, but hard to carry it out. And I'm not a Republican. I'm really not a Republican. Neither one of these parties have my interest. Neither one of them. I can't go to no party and say, can I borrow $100? Okay. None of them have our interest. And that's where people get it wrong. A party is a non-human thing. It is not a sensual thing. It is not something that can be reasoned with. It is not something that has morals. It is just something on a piece of paper. And I don't mind being broke because let me tell you something. Nobody and you can take this with you. This is probably one of the most absolute in the English language. Nobody. Absolutely nobody. Now, if you're smart, you can figure out what I was fitting to say. Absolutely no one. There's never been one. They won't ever be one. It's impossible to do. There is absolutely nobody. Okay, that what? I know somebody smart as I am out there. What am I talking about? So whether or not I'm broke or not, I don't care. Listen, I can eat outside, get me a couple of them squirrels going around and, cut off the tail and open them up and clean them out real good and put them on the fire. Okay. Again, high is relevant. If you got plenty of money, it's not high. It's not high at all. You just got to pay more for it. It's not high. You can afford it. Like when the gas, I don't worry about gas going up. Fill up yesterday, as a matter of fact. I'm good. Yeah, fill up yesterday. The car's on full. Oh yeah, car's all the way on full. When I look in the paper, there are all kinds of people hiring for jobs. So if you don't have a job, if you don't have some money, you can make some. Okay. Oh, I don't need a loan. No, I don't want to borrow money for nothing else. Matter of fact, I was going down the street I was going down the street one day. My credit was so good. I was going down the street one day. Took 45 seconds to get $20,000 from PNC Bank. And they called me. Hey, Elkins, yeah, you need some money? Absolutely, all the time. But I thought they were joking, right? So I gave my information on the phone. By the time I got to the next red light, I was already giving the money. And I thought they were lying. No, I went down to the bank and picked the money up. 2 days later, took the money back. I said, man, I don't need this money. All that is to make somebody else rich. So I took the money back to the bank. So I don't need to borrow no money. I'm good. How far can you travel on a full tank of gas? Well, my car said you can go 500 miles on a full tank of gas. So I'm going 250 miles so I can make sure I can make it back, just in case the gas goes up when I get out there. So I'm good. Yeah, 250 miles on my car. Yeah, I think it's 300 miles actually. Yeah, but what's I got to do with anything? I ain't going nowhere. Okay, how much does it take? I don't know because I've never let it get empty. I always fill up the car at half full. That way it won't hurt my pocket so much when I do want to fill it up. So I don't really know what it takes to fill up my car, to tell you the truth. I've never let it get empty. So I wouldn't know. And every little extra change I get, you know what I do it? I put it in the gas tank. So I don't run out of gas, or I don't have to get down to E. I don't have to get gas. Because the minute your car starts to get down on empty and you start messing up your car, you do. You start messing up your fuel system. You start messing up things. So you don't want to. Now, I'm not concerned about the gas. I'm not even a little bit. Either I have gas and I go someplace, or I don't and I stay where I am. I don't worry about the price of gas. It can go up $10 a gallon. I'll buy 5 gallons a month. There ain't no difference. Okay, I won't go no place. I'll step right here and do my podcast and beg for money or something. I don't worry about the price of gas. When you're in Germany and other foreign countries and gas is by the liter and not by the gallon, oh yeah, a liter is a little bit more than, what is a liter? How many cups go into a liter? Oh, let me ask Siri. Hey Siri, how many cups does it take to make a liter? Okay.
1 liter is 4.23 cups.
Okay, so in some places, a liter gas costs you what a gallon. And I think in America, our gallon is 8 cups, I believe. Oh, let me see. I think it's 8 cups. It's 8 or 16 cups. Hey Siri, how many cups make a gallon? Yeah.
A gallon is 16 cups.
So a gallon of gas is 16 cups for us. That same gas in Europe runs same price for 4 cups. Yeah. So who getting screwed? It's the folks overseas. Okay, I'm just saying. So I don't worry about gas prices, brother. If you got it, ride. If you don't, you don't. Why don't you? I do got the same thing about Alabama Power. I keep asking. I've asked Mr. Graham. Reed Ingram. I've asked people that why does Alabama Power have this thing with the state of Alabama that they have a certain right to make a certain profit? They're the only business I know in the state of Alabama that is guaranteed a certain profit margin. Okay, and I understand initially back in the early days when they had to put their infrastructure in. I understand why we allowed them certain benefits because that infrastructure was going to help everybody. So, but now it's still on the books. They get a chance. Listen, Alabama Power rapes us. I mean, it just absolutely rapes us. Okay. It costs $248 to fill my Escalade. Okay, if you keep it on halfway all the time, the most it's going to cost you is $250. It's $125. $125. So I'm going to cut your price in half. Okay. Only go those places you need to go. Keep it on half full. Full of it. Never looked at the price, the total, just drove away. Which is what I do. I really don't worry about the price. I mean, at some point it's coming down. It's going to come down, or else we won't be a country, because that means we lost to the Iranians and they took us over. Okay, or we lost whoever we fighting. But now we may lose them on the battlefield, but they ain't coming over here. So we gonna see, and we need a president that will allow us to drill for our own gas. Okay. 5 miles to empty. See how you see? I won't get that point. I won't get to that point. Yeah, I don't ever. No, I don't. Again, I told you, I never let it go past half full. I always fill it up when it's half full. If I don't fill it up when it's half full, if I'm short on funds, I put my extra funds in the gas thing. To me, half a tank is on empty. Okay, it's on empty, so I don't mess with it like that. So I'm good. Okay, keep hope alive. Keep coming down, and we hope it does, but it will. It will come down. 200 and listen, Roderick, brother, you need to drive something else. But I must admit, I've never been in an Escalade, but they sure look like they drive well. I wouldn't know, but they look like they ride good. But can't afford one of those things. Now, when I was young, I could, but I was stupid. I was trying to see how fast my car would go. I see you're not proficient in math. No, and since I'm out of school and I made it through that course, yeah, I don't really care about it. That's why I got. See, that's why I got. I'm sorry. That's why I got Siri right here. Okay, so if I can't figure it out, I just ask my little question to my little phone right here, and it tells me the answer. Okay, I finished school, so we good. All right. Yeah, I don't have to remember that. I mean, when you get almost 70, if your mind's still firing on all the things that they have to fire on, then you good. I think as you get older, you lose a little bit, but not much. But I'm still pretty sharp. But I'm kind of like Biden. Not proficient in math. No, and since I'm out of school and I made it through that.
Hey, how big the Escalade only holds 24 gallons.
24 gallons.
Yeah, the fool said he paid $248 to fill his Escalade. It only holds 24 gallons. I don't know what he's buying. Do you?
Well, unless he's buying just premium.
And then why would you ask? Why wouldn't you just say how many liters in a gallon instead of going how many cups in a liter?
Wait a minute. As long as I get the right answer, is not.
Well, why would you do something that stupid? I mean, why would you just say how many liters?
But I got the answer. It doesn't make any difference how I get there. I got the answer.
But I don't know where this guy's buying gas. There's only a 24-gallon tank on an Escalade. But each to their own.
All right, well, at least you got an Escalade. I'm good. Yeah, but a liter again, that's what it costs a liter overseas. So we still doing pretty good. You know, we get 16 cups and they get 4 for the same price. They so I mean we hold. Let me see what a liter of gas in Germany is right now. Hey Siri, what is a liter of gas in Germany at the moment? Okay, let me see here now. So y'all think y'all whining about gas over here. Let me see now. What is the cost over Europe? Okay, what does it cost? What does it cost? Okay. Okay. Hey, Siri, what is the average liter of gas cost in the UE or EU, whatever it is? What is the average liter of gas cost in the EU? Come on, man. You can't just give me the answer. I got to do all this looking stuff up. Okay, now it is gasoline 95, diesel, and UPG. I don't know. I can't. Oh, here it is. Ooh. Albania. Man. Let's see now. Bolivia. Okay. They're giving me the. Okay, here we go. Hey, I'm an American, okay, so you got to give it to me in English. Hey, Siri, what is the American price of a gallon of gas in the EU? All right, I'll fix that up another day. May 2020, EU gasoline, petrol prices table. Okay. Open 7. I figured out later. Anyway, you can see that they get 4 cups for what we pay for 16. Okay, so that's why their cars are so small, so they don't have to take as much gas. But they get screwed, glued, and tattooed too. Anyway, moving on to other things. Oh man, time is up. I gotta go. I didn't know it's that late already. Bye.